This is Newsroom here on GHOne television with me, Awisi, Dede. Let's take a look at our headlines this morning. Passengers call on law enforcement agencies and GPRTU to strictly enforce approved transport fares as some drivers continue to charge exorbitant rates. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin calls on MPP members to set aside internal divisions and focus on rebuilding the party to reclaim power in 2028. In business, Goldfield's program equips graduates with industry-ready skills. And on the international front, a chronic water shortage is damping holiday mood in Tanzania's biggest city. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Stay with me. Thank you so much for choosing us this morning. The news is coming to you live from our Platinum studio here in Accra, and it's also streaming live on Facebook at GHOne TV. Passengers are calling on law enforcement agencies and the Ghana Private Road Transport Union to strictly enforce approved transport fares following widespread complaints of drivers charging illegal rates despite clear directive from the union. This follows a warning to commercial drivers against charging fares above approved rate, urging passengers to resist any unauthorized increases and report offending operators. Obed Kingaglu engaged some passengers at the driver and some drivers at Seko. Take a look.
Madam Fubia Catching. So Frikaswa Eba Kanation Omogeno Bako 4. Into Bedu Carnation with Yabe 40 Ghana. Osimu 3 o'clock, no Bedu Carnation and upper 8 o'clock. A do that time there was a bandit tax force. A back one, no more check drivers, no, and no more load my drivers, no Ankasa. I was a bandit task force back one, no more check your when yes, I said the econo. A Fibia, Sana, your best experience, no, it was Ghana, yes, answer. In fact, I do how near my neighbor, a brilliant passengers, no.
And maybe I can drive yourself with 1 man fee. I can 1st November, what a program be a stadium. Instead of equally in J stadium, me or Sunday hate me 2 cities say, a cafe no by 10 cities. If I cry from Osutu La 10 cities, La to Teshi, if I cry 10 cities. Recently, week no Theatre Raka from PTC. To totally at least 2 cities. She heard me, but now here 3 cities from PTC to Accra, 3 cities say. But me come fe na kan.
Okay, fi dankwa sek e ko kaswa. Me mesi wa barrier. But instead of 10 cities, you know, almost 15 cities and not 20 cities. 15 cities and not 20 cities. Way by this time, I didn't sign Kakra, my fear says emoji.
But passengers in the room, Music Gronke behind the Empress over there, or Beko. The passengers and back as a old driver, you bet you see. In Timonfire, the Monfire Konamunia, Canis, no Dokon, near Ludu Canis, no Dokona, near the Kudusa Casona, Nina Fair near Pepe Pentino, Yeben Balcon, near their mamma, into the Yenfo Monco. Tabasana names were at once or once, and the form and say a penny say, Omujana, the force, a Casacasua, 15 city and now 20 city there.
Those ideas are Nipa doors now, traffic in Anwood, if you are country Mantanabia, Sanyam and Corsa. Yeah, they be almost like maybe almost like so I had there. Untinessa, and Lolife 85 in 9 city, Untiminian Shibu.
For many of the passengers, drivers will continue to charge unapproved fares this Yuletide until the law enforcement agencies and the GPRTU enforce their mandates. For GHOne News, Obed Kingaglo, Kwame Nkrumah Interchange, Circle.
President John Dramani Mahama has marked his first Christmas since returning to office with a message of gratitude, renewal and firm commitment to economic recovery and inclusive development. In a Christmas message, the president thanked Ghanaians for the trust placed in his government, describing the moment as deeply significant as he leads the country once again. He said his administration remains committed to the Reset in Ghana agenda, which he outlined as a path toward inclusive growth, job creation, accountability and shared prosperity. President Mahama said the task ahead requires collective effort, stressing the need for government and citizens to work tirelessly together to revive the economy. But Minority Leader Alexander Fenyomakin has called on members of the New Patriotic Party to remain united, resilient and hopeful as the year comes to an end. In a Christmas message, he urged party faithful to set aside internal divisions and focus on rebuilding the party to reclaim power in 2028.
Fellow patriots, time to rise again, Xmas season, and I bring you good tidings and warmest greetings of the Christmas season. It has been just a little over a year since our great party experienced one of its most painful and devastating electoral defeats. It was a moment that tested our resolve, shook our confidence, and weighed heavily on our collective spirit. After tragedy, there is a time for sympathy and condolence, and our party did well to mourn, to listen, and to reflect. The sacrifices made, the effort expended, and the lessons learned will not be forgotten. But my dear patriots, the time for sympathy has passed. The time for action has now arrived. As a party, we have learned, or should have learned, an important lesson. Unity is worth fighting for. Working for victory can be hard, yet the New Patriotic Party has accomplished hard tasks before. We did it in 2000, in 2004, 2016, and 2020. At times, it may seem that the forces pulling us apart are stronger than those binding us together. Arguments often turn too easily into animosity. Disagreement sometimes escalates into division. But we must tread cautiously, remembering always that we are strongest when we stand together. The sacrifices made, the effort expended, and the lessons learned will not be forgotten. 1 year down already, our friends. 1 year is gone, 3 more to go, and I see and sense victory ahead. May God bless you. God bless the New Patriotic Party. God bless our dedicated foot soldiers. May God bless our beloved country, Ghana. I wish all of you a Merry Christmas.
A district chief executive of Kwewu East, Samuel Asamoah, has cautioned residents of Kotoso against open defecation along the Black Volta, warning that the practice poses grave risk to public health and the environment. He says that the pollution of the river not only endangers water quality and aquatic life, but also exposes communities to disease outbreaks, adding that authorities strictly enforce the law against anyone caught engaging in such practices. He gave the caution during an engagement with traders and community members, where he acknowledged concerns about the poor state of the market and explained that the facility remains a top priority due to its importance to local economic activity.
Additional leaders' engagement with residents of Kotoso in the Kwewu East municipality, District Chief Executive Samuel Asamoah urged traders and community members to act responsibly as the Assembly prepares to address pressing challenges, including the rehabilitation of the market, provision of toilet facilities, and improved sanitation in the area.
That market way now we twice in a week. A brother and a feeder. A brother and feeder in now who read what to say a guy as 3 years. The Santino, I hope Boa Guquansoa, as I answer, a better and market. Assembly Nina and Yama Bibri, a year and Fasu free. Yes, Senator, among for Noah, a ba a jawahan. Almost a bebois, ama a day, yet cleaning. Some bar, and so on rubber, normally a scatter baby. Sabio said, oh no, so now rubber, no, the share, or bag you would fear. Now we to I'm saying,
The DC further warned that the law will be strictly enforced against anyone found littering or engaging in open defecation along the Black Volta, stressing that such practices pose serious environmental and public health risk.
Assembly need to an amount baby. Yabeboa market, I have no also ever boa. How many amount for Nakasa? As I said, almost that a management at the CC cream. Yeah, second sanitation, they put to so an bear. Now, answer and nominate the environmental for the bar. Many are not chrono and yet not just a fino or so. Into a quine feeling an animal cocasai. Emma, Nananamuso, Ejitumu. Yeah, be yet toilet facility all right. But until I is a nipani be that's so a job now and swallow. Emza and yet fair. Sansui and number brave from by in to be. It is a beer or never be a yana who now be kutra. A banasa now Emza one casan on your ma papa.
On his part, the chief of Kotoso, Nana Kwachi Owusu-Ansah, announced that from next year, persons below 18 years will not be allowed to use commercial motorcycles, popularly known as Okada. He stressed that all ghettos within the community will be demolished as part of efforts to restore order and safety.
Next year, abobo ya okoma nyina any moto a okoma nyina ya shemra yeshia herdsmen no ene o maka so mo ma amafo aso anti eni say ye ma kwan e ma akwala bia enka abobo ya any moto akwala bia ebe hu na only 18 years oti moto so no abobo ya no so no.
The engagement underscored a renewed commitment by both traditional authorities and the district assembly to improve living conditions in Kotoso while enforcing discipline and community responsibility to support sustainable development.
You're still watching the Christmas edition of Newsroom here on GHOne Television. We'll be back after this break. Newsroom here on GHOne television. Let's do more stories now. Parents are being urged to deliberately cultivate the habit of reading in children as part of their early upbringing to help sharpen creativity, confidence and communication skills. The call was made during activities promoting literacy and public speaking among young learners, while also encouraging children to express themselves through reading and storytelling.
Program, organized by the Learning Tree Foundation, is already delivering clear results from sustained investments in reading and speaking skills. Through the initiative, young learners are not only building confidence on stage but also writing books and breaking barriers in creative expression. Beyond the trophies and applause, organizers say the most remarkable outcome has been the depth and originality of the stories produced by the children. Contestants were required to write and present original stories before a jury with selected works earmarked for publication.
We want children to start writing at the tender age. We want them to explore and bring out the best in them. We want them to bring out whatever they are thinking about. So to put it in writing for other children as well to read and be inspired.
Speaking to the news team, Chief Executive Officer of the Learning Tree Foundation, organizers of the Young Public Speakers Program, Rosemary Osekufor, urged parents and guardians to cultivate the habit of reading in children from an early age.
I would like to encourage every parent that every child is unique in their own ways. Every child has a story, an untold story, a story that is not out. It doesn't pass through plagiarism. You get it? It's unique, and we need to let them say it. And by saying it, they talk. You know, every child talk. They are talking, and how they do their things makes us know that this child is embedded with a whole lot of things. I encourage every parent to just allow them. Let them speak. Let them speak. We will write it for them.
Organizers say the success of the program reinforces the importance of nurturing reading culture early, not only for academic excellence, but also for raising confidence, expressive and imaginative young people.
The Forestry Commission has intercepted a major illegal wildlife export at the Kotikot International Airport, seizing nearly 4,000 dried shark fins valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. The consignment bound for Mauritania was forcefully declared as dried fish and lacked the required export permit under Ghana's wildlife laws.
The operation was conducted by staff of the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission stationed at the Kotoka International Airport following a tip-off from the Veterinary Services Directorate. A total of 3,967 dried shark fins, weighing a total of 488 kilograms, were seized at the Swiss Port Cargo Center. The fins were packed in 14 wrapped jute bags, commonly referred to as Ghana Must Go, and are estimated to have a street value of between $300,000 and $400,000. The shipment was initially declared as dried fish. However, upon inspection, officers discovered the consignment contained dried shark fins, contrary to the declaration provided. Further checks revealed that the shipment had no export permit or supporting documentation, in breach of the Wildlife Resources Management Act 2023, Act 1115, which requires authorization for the export of wildlife and wildlife products. Preliminary identification shows the fins were harvested from protected shark species, including the blue shark, common trisha shark, silky shark, and great hammerhead shark. All these species are listed under Appendix 2 of the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, meaning their export is strictly regulated to prevent overexploitation and ensure sustainability. The seized consignment is currently being held by the Forestry Commission, while the primary suspect has been handed over to the airport police station to assist with investigations and possible prosecution. The Forestry Commission says it remains committed to combating illegal wildlife trade and protecting Ghana's biodiversity.
Away from that, top police leadership is demanding a reset in how crime is investigated in Ghana. At a two-day conference of regional crime officers in Accra, Inspector General of Police Christian GHOne and the Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department called for modern skills, ethical conduct and stronger collaboration to confront evolving criminal networks.
As crime becomes increasingly complex and technology-driven, the Ghana Police Service says traditional investigative methods are no longer enough. Inspector General of Police Christian GHOne urged crime officers to adapt, innovate, and continuously upgrade their skills.
These realities demand that we modernize our investigative approach. This will enable you to adapt to new challenges, exploit emerging trends, and stay ahead of criminals.
He called for closer collaboration among police units, other security agencies, and stakeholders to share intelligence, best practices, and resources in tackling complex crimes.
To promote transparency, build trust, and demonstrate our commitment to excellence. Let's restore public confidence in our service and build a safer, more just society for all Ghanaians. Let's work together to make a difference.
The Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP Lydia Yakodonko, observed that effective criminal investigation remains the backbone of successful prosecution and justice delivery.
It is for this reason that this conference has been put together to provide timely education to help us address the challenges that confront us in our fight against crime.
COP Lydia Donko acknowledged limited resources, irregular training, and increasingly sophisticated criminal methods as major challenges investigators face, making capacity building essential.
Your contributions will undoubtedly inspire new ideas and approaches in criminal investigations as we seek to do away with the current downward trend.
The conference brings together seasoned facilitators and experts to share best practices in forensic investigations, cybercrime, financial crimes, and intelligence-led policing. Participants are expected to transfer knowledge gained to their commands to strengthen investigations nationwide.
For the business segment on the program.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for tech.
In business, Goldfields Ghana is helping to bridge the gap between education and employment at a time when many graduates struggle to meet employers' demand for work experience. Through its graduate trainee program, the mining firm is equipping young professionals with practical, industry-ready skills to thrive in Ghana's mining sector. There is more.
In an increasingly competitive job market, lack of hands-on experience continued to shut many graduates out of employment opportunities. Since 2018, Goldfields Ghana's graduate training program has stepped in to address this challenge, offering structured training and real-world exposure to young graduates pursuing careers in mining. This year, about 90 trainees successfully completed the program, bringing the total number of beneficiaries to 261. Out of the number, 77% are currently employed, while 17 graduates from the latest cohort have already secured jobs. Senior Vice President and Managing Director of Goldfields Ghana, Elliot Trum, says the program equips trainees with the technical competence and professional discipline required to make meaningful contributions to the mining industry and national development.
Impressively, 77% of past trainees have either secured employment or pursue further education, underscoring the program's effectiveness in preparing young professionals for competitive careers. To date, 261 graduates have benefited from the program. The foundation's investment of approximately $4.8 million in skills development programs underscores our commitment to people, to communities, and to creating enduring value beyond mining.
At the graduation dinner, Community Affairs Manager of Goldfields Ghana, Robert Siao, noted that the program is playing a critical role in reducing graduate unemployment by improving employability and preparing participants for industry demands.
The program equipped participants with relevant technical, professional, and workplace skills, enhancing their employability and preparedness for the job market. This is evident as some trainees readily secure employment with Goldfields business partners, and other mining companies in the country even before or on completion of the program.
The Graduate Training Program is a 2-year structured initiative focused on building technical expertise, professional skills, and leadership capacity. Organizers say the program underscores Goldfields Ghana's commitment to human capital development, not just for the mining sector, but for Ghana's broader economic growth.
That brings us to the end of business. It's time for international.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In Tanzania's main city, some of its 6 million residents begin their day with a frantic search for water. It's Christmas, but the festive mood is dampened by the dry pipes. In some homes, plastic containers are stacked outside the door, ready to be carried out at moment's notice whenever word spreads that a nearby tap is flowing again. The crisis caused by a drought and rising demand has persisted for months. Many people are forced to turn to private vendors who source their water from boreholes and tanks. That brings us to the end of the Christmas edition of Newsroom here on GHOne Television with me, Awisi, Dede, Jange. Have a wonderful